Hello, this is Team Zero Errors, Zero Warnings. I'm Pei. My team members are Shi Haojing and Qi Zefan. So we're gonna talk about our final project, the UIUC photo book application. This is the demo video. So since we were not very clear about our functionalities and tasks, we thought we would move through a series of cycles throughout the lifetime of the project. Therefore, we choose to do the agile plan for our project. As we already done with doing the project, we still thought we may not choose differently because we still believe that if we want our application can serve our client better, it is necessary to go through the cycle of development or adjust, review and get a feedback, and do the adjustments again, review, and so on, until both of us are satisfied. So our clients are the students who want the non-contact travel through the campus. We think of this topic because during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not safe for students to do the in-person orientation. So we decided to design an online application for new students to travel through the UIUC campus, like doing a non-contact orientation in this pandemic period. Our application should be able to allow students to view some default suggestions, default landmarks provided by the school, and they can also add landmarks on the map and upload their own pictures in a specific position. For this project, we did several steps for designing this, including create the backlog, write some user stories, and designing our conceptual data model and non-functional requirements. For our backlog, we designed several tasks for our project. First of all, we will let the application to ask the authorization of the user's current location so that we can get their longitude and latitude to set the landmarks on the map. We will need to set up the map in the dashboard first and some default landmarks later. We will set up user location mark on the map. We also enable our users to create new landmarks on their current location according to their device. Users can also upload their own pictures and comments, writing comments or descriptions for the specific landmark, so that they can record their own stories. After here, we set these tasks to have very high priority in our project because these items are the main functionalities of our application. In addition, we also enable users to edit existing records, like changing the pictures, and we will also set up a list of all landmarks, including landmarks generated by users and those default suggestions provided by school. The task that has the last priority is to enable users to select their own theme or background colors. These are the backlog we designed for our project, and I will explain our user stories next. So for user stories, even though we will show our application later, I would like to introduce each of them first. The first user story we have is called reviewing existing landmarks. As a user, I would like to view all the landmarks, including those being created by users or those default suggestions provided by school, so that they can choose any landmarks for viewing. Say a user opened this application, if the user drag the map, they can see lots of wrappings on the map that are all the landmarks being created. If the user choose and click on one of them, they can see a screen with some detailed pages showing the pictures of the landmarks, its name, and its description. The next user story is to add landmarks. When a user would like to add a landmarks of their current location on the map, so that they can save it for later reviewing, they can click on the Take Pic button to signal the system. The application will show a screen with some buttons for opening the gallery, also including a text bar for name and description, and a button for adding the picture. After the user fill in the picture, the name and description, and click on adding picture button, the user can see a wrapping marked on the map presenting the user's current location. So next, the user story is for editing the pictures. If a user wants to change the picture or edit the landmarks when reviewing existing landmarks, they can update the pictures of landmarks. When a user clicked on the picture of a landmark to signal that he wants to edit it, the user can see a list of pictures in their album. By clicking on one of the pictures, they can see that the picture of the specific landmarks was changed. The last user story we have is to see all records in list. Our application will provide users with a list of all landmarks records for reviewing so that they can directly select a record to review. If a user clicked on the suggestion button, the application will show a list of landmarks. And if a user selects one of it, they can directly go to the information page with pictures and descriptions in it. So these are the user stories we have for this project. Then we designed a conceptual data model for our project. We have a relatively simple model here since we do not have that much information needs to be recorded. First of all, we have a user table to record our user information, including their username and email addresses, and so on. For each user, they can add 0 or as many landmarks as they want, but each landmarks will be either generated by one user or one developer. The landmarks table stories. The landmark table stores information about the landmark name, its longitude and latitude, and its description. A user can also upload 0 or many images for each landmarks. The image table will record the image path and its type. The type table stores the image type information. An image can be an icon image or an image for a specific landmark, and so on. In addition, a user can also set an application theme which has a theme name and the theme color so that they can change the theme color they like. The next part is the non-functional requirements. So for our project, we set up some requirements here. For human factors, aesthetics, and consistency in the user interface, we say that our system should conform to all human factors or aesthetics or interface consistency requirements. For the user documentation or training materials, we will have the demo video for this part. And for the reliability, we say that our system should fall no more frequently than once per week, and it should be recoverable within 1 hour. Also, the accuracy, our system should be 99% accurate in its location information because we're the map-based application. It's very important for us. Also for the performance, we say that our response time should be no greater than 2-second response time for page flipping. Also, because our project is written in Swift and Xcode, we say that our application can be only downloaded by iOS system. So next, so our next steps, we will say for the security reasons, we may create a user login feature that allows the data can be stored and may be able to download or restore if some unexpected problems occur. Also, we may allow users to share their landmarks or pictures so that people's friends can see their pictures, or other users nearby can see the pictures. Next, Xingze will introduce in more detail and do some demos for our application.
Hi, my name is Xingze Fan, and I will lead the rest of our demo for showing our code and the functionalities. So we are using the Xcode with the Swift as our platform to implement our app. And right as everybody can see, this page is our interface design for our project. This is what's supported by the Xcode. We can directly create our different views for this app and add the buttons or the image or text as what we want, and then we can connect different each views with the some actions provided for the button. So let's get started with what first the user will see. So as this come in, this is the first page that the user will see when they open the app. So this tab bar controller will have 3 buttons: the home tab, the take pic, and the suggestions. So the home tab will actually also be the first view shown in our app. So let's start with the first view as the default one. So so this little blue rectangles called MK Map View is functionalities also provided here. This will show the map contained with the markers to show where the users are. And we will be able to see the user themselves and also the red marks, which means the our default suggestions, locations, and maybe the previous records that the user made by themselves. So the functionalities related to this page is the one that we called the location marker. As its name shows, this view will only be interactive through the marker. So like I said, the red markers shown on the map, user will be able to interactive with them. So for example, after we click the markers, then we will jump to this page. This page will show the user the place name and the pictures and also the descriptions. This will be the record stored in the core platform and will be stored in our database. So that user are able to click all the red markers shown on the map as what they want to review and to see the records that they have. So come back through our Tapebar controller. If I click this Take Peek buttons, then we'll jump to this page, the Take Peek view. So this is the functionality that enable the user to add their own pictures. So for example, I went to some place that I feel really beautiful, or I want to write them down. But those things are not the default suggestions from the school. Then we are able to click this button and create our own landmarks and our pictures here. So the core location functionality will get the user current locations, like the longitude or latitude, and so that those data will be stored in our database. And then by go to the gallery to find picture button, then we will have our album jumped out, and we can select our pictures that we took at that place, and we can give the place a name and a brief descriptions in the place information text bar here. And after that, then we are able to save all those information in our data set. And as what we expect, these red marks will be also shown in the map view, so we can review it later. After that, we have our third big functionality chunk is the suggestion button. After click this, we will jump to a brand new controller view, is our table view. So this table view will be placed as a list. So in this list, we are able to see all our records that is a combination from the default suggestions and what the user added here. And there's another functionality because we see the link is here. This will enable user, after they clicked a single records, it will also directly jump to the default or the user create their own created detail page. So this page will also show, you know, as is the same like when we click on the landmarks. Okay, so maybe let's start to review the real specific code. So the app delegate is where the skeleton of our code. So we will import the UI kit and the core data, that which are two really powerful packages provided by Swift. And in this page, this is where we default gives a set project is our settings. These settings are another single small functionality that we added. Is because we kind of want to give this app some settings that can be chosen by user themselves. So what we choose is the background color, or we can call them the theme. So these functionalities are enable us to change the color of the map. So let's back to the app delegate. So we have total 3 theme as the UIUC blue, UIUC orange, or a combination. Also, this page we defined what we want to store for the default value. So these are all the we just put 3 default in this part. So we have our image titled destinations and the locations for 3 of our suggestions. And let's go with the core model data. So this is a really important part correlated with our database. So this is the part that we define how we want to store everything. So for example, we have the save data. So this functionality is defined so how to save our landmarks as an object. So the models, like we designed it as the entity, we will have a single ID, a title, a description, a longitude, latitude, and the image itself in each landmarks. And we also have the setting data, or we also have the delayed, and those are all functionality related to how we store the landmarks. So coming into our first view for the user, the home tab controller. So right here, that's why we import MapKit and core location. Those 2 functionalities are the part that we can add the map to our UI view controller so that we can import the map into our view. And we can have update locations. We have the draw map, which we are able to grab the map as what we usually will do from our phone. Okay, and then we have the map view, and this is the functionality that we pop our maps on the view. And we will also have the other related functionality, which I won't take too much time to explain them. And the second view controller that we have is the take the pictures. So this is kind of the same as the previous one. So we'll have its own UI button for the user to interact with. And we'll have, the view did load, and those are the functionality provided by the interactiveness, and also the actions about the add picture itself. So this will give us like what we input for like the user input, and we will put them as a single entities and stored it in the database. So for the third view, which we call them the suggestions, this is correlated with this table view controller. So this is the part that we grab all of our records from the our database and to list them together. And also the sightings is where we define what the theme that we want and the name, and especially like the colors correlated. And this actually, the location marker is what I think is the most challenging one because there are too much related functionality, and especially find a way to interact with the markers is really hard. So by this part, we define a class, the location markers, and we will use all those views together. This is the most complicated reactions with all the other view and controller. And but the functionality itself inside of it is not really complicated, so it's kind of the same. When we click the button, we will have the image pumped out, and it just will have the potentials functionalities to edit the existing records. And after that, when we click the save button, we are able to update our database using that button. Okay, and these are all the codes and the overview of our project. And then I will start to show a simulator, which is also a really nice thing for this app. Is as we see here, this is a simulator of our phone. And what we pick is the iOS iPhone 13 for our demo. So after we click the new installed app, we will see this page, which in this page, the app will ask the user to open the like the locations, and the user will allow this app to use the location that they are. So as we see, you can select allow once, allow while the using app, or we just don't allow. So I will select the allow while using app. And then we can see what is moving. And so for this map, then we can see where we are by the red spot. So I can click it, this means it is me. And I'm currently in my apartment. So this is showing my current locations. So, and there's another thing that I want to show is, so as the app install in our iPhone, it will show the name that the UIUC for the book as the name, and also a nice icon that I got from the internet is a 2x2 image for our iSchool. So click it, have our current locations, and we can also see here is using our locations. And I can drag this image, this map wherever I want, or I can use a zoom in, zoom out functionality, which is exactly the same as what we can do in our. So after I click on the red marks for this library, and we'll see what we stored for the default in our database. So there will be the title, the descriptions for the landmarks, and exactly the pictures. So for example, if I want to change this photo to my own photograph. So I visit here and I took a new one and I want to change it. I can directly click on the pictures. So this will join us to our own album in our phone. So for example, I can take a flower as an example. So after I click it, and as we see, so the picture will be updated. And after I click Save Pictures, and then the pictures inside of this database will be updated. And we can go back to the map and to check with it. So after click on the red marks, and we see that the records are changed. Okay, so in our suggestions, we can also see how the all the defaults and the suggestions in a list. So as my current locations as an examples, I want to save my apartment as a landmarks. So I can click on the take pictures. I can click go to the gallery to find the pictures. I can use whatever I want the pictures. I can give this place a name. Say, okay. I want this place name. And this will see Cindy's home. Okay, and I can click add the pictures, and this information will be stored. So let's check the results. We can go to the home tab, and we can see there is a red marks shown right here. And after we click it, we can see what we added previously. So the apartment, and it's my home. Okay, go back to our app. So go to the suggestions. We can also click all the records that we want to see. So for examples, this is one of our famous landmarks in UIUC. And go back. We can also see the previous existing record. And so in our home tab, we are able to use the settings. So after I click this, this will lead me to a new view. So this is the part that we can change our theme. So right now, our settings are UIUC blue. So we can change to UIUC orange. And we click the go back to map, then we see our background color are changed. And so we also have the red one. So these are total 3 themes that we have right now. Okay. Okay, and here is all of our functionalities and what we want to show for our applications. And we're hoping that this app will give people a chance to review all the landmarks that we provided by school, or we can create our own album. So we can record all the landmarks that we traveled in UIUC.